Oral and Ron.
This is the Modern Eater Show.
Piping hot and delicious.
The Modern Eater.
Food, 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 food.
Come and get it. And now your hosts, Greg Hollenback, Jay Parker, and Brian Freeman.
Yes, it is, and here we are. The Modern Eater Show on the air everywhere, live from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. This is a good night for me, man. Angelo's in the house. You ready?
I'm excited about this.
All right, let's see. We got some people in here tonight.
Yep.
It's
not the night to be on a diet, that's for sure.
No. This is going to be a good night. Angelo's Taverna and Carboy Winery, Logan Street, Ivy on 7th. These are all places that if you're not familiar with, you're about to be. Get straight to the show. He's shucking oysters right now. His name's Eric Hyatt, owner, and you could call yourself Chief Effer Offer or Upper.
Effer Upper.
Yeah, why not?
I get a lot of people's ways sometimes.
Man, welcome to the show, Eric.
Hey, it's good to have us. We're really happy to be here.
It's been a while. We've been working on this for quite some time. Have to give hats off to Madison, who put this all together.
Thanks,
you,
Madison,
so much.
I love it. That the history I did not know when we were talking about Angelo's back in September.
Yeah.
I didn't know the history that you had with it as well.
I do have a little history, piece by piece, and on the show with us tonight. We're going to piece this all together. We're going to talk a little history with Angelo's. I'm a Denverite. I'm a native to Cherry Creek. Grew up on 6th and Jackson, just right down the street from the Angelo's there. Angelo's is on 6th and what?
6th and Washington.
6th and Washington.
Yeah.
Boy, I mean.
Well, and you guys, how long have you guys been there?
So Angelo's was there. 74, it became an Angelo's.
Yeah.
It was a Fratelli's Pizza before that.
Yeah, let's do that. We've got a couple of historians here with us.
Yeah.
Actually, Angelo is a guy.
Angelo is a guy.
Angelo Laveo.
He was a real guy.
He's no longer with us anymore, but he's got his brother.
His legacy lives on.
What, the oldest brother of 5? Is that right?
He was the oldest of 5, and I'm the youngest.
Albert is here with us, Albert Laveo, Angelo's brother, and my mother, Patricia Peterson.
Because these two went to preschool together, right?
Pretty much.
Greg went to my mother's preschool.
I remember that place.
Yeah.
I mean, St. Augustine's, no?
No, the Mariana Day School.
Mariana Day School, wow.
Miss Janet and Miss...
So, Eric, you're going to have to just, for one segment, sit back and kind of take it all in because we're going to walk down memory lane here. So let's set it up. Albert, why don't you do that?
What's that?
Talk about the family, the Laveo family. My old man, I actually talked to George.
Did you? I wanted to tell you to say hi to him.
Yeah, I will. I talked to my dad on the phone. All kinds of memories came flushing back, but he said basically 10th and Monroe is where you guys grew up, right?
Correct.
He said they couldn't get rid of him. He was at your place all the time on any kind of dinner, and there was always a pot of spaghetti. The sauce was going.
Always.
At the house. And Angelo, he was redheaded guy.
Yeah. Yes.
What's up with that? Is he a
I
part of the
have two
family?
brothers with red hair.
Did you?
My next oldest sibling for me had bright red hair. So we have there's some Scotchmen in our history. We're not all Italian.
Angelo is a very talented guy. He
was very charismatic.
So the year of our Lord, 1974, I was just a 2-year-old boy. And there it is. Angelo's is starting up on 6th and Washington.
Yeah.
The place just from there turned into kind of the pizza institution for me. I grew up on the kitchen sink. I think we have that here with us. It's a delicious pizza, and it actually still lives here today, doesn't it?
Yes, it lives
the
on.
recipe.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's that original sauce recipe that we were able to purchase when we took over and took on the name. So we kept that original red sauce, the pizza dough, same ingredients, the Denrado flour, all that good Italian high quality. He did high quality ingredients when he made his food, and that's what stood the test of time. We're on decade 5 with his recipes.
Is it really?
Eric, have you guys been able to find those same? Because I know 50 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And the flour companies come and go.
Yeah.
I mean, many companies come and go. You guys have stood that test of time, but do you guys find any problems sourcing the original ingredients that you...
We haven't. There was Denrado flour is one of the main ingredients that we use for the pizza crust, and I feel like they're going to be in business long after I'm not around. They're going to keep it going. And all the ingredients that go into the red sauce, there's God, I think there's 19 ingredients that go into that red sauce.
Cool.
And we haven't had a problem keeping that the same brands. So that's the key, because you can buy 7-Eleven, crushed tomatoes, tomato puree, but if you don't get the quality stuff, and that's where we keep buying the same stuff that's on the menu.
Well, and it's interesting
on that recipe card,
because people will change their recipes.
Yeah.
Sometimes manufacturers find, I can save a penny here or there by using this different tomato or sourcing something different. So that's hard.
Yeah, and it was easy for us to do that because we knew that there was something that was tried and true. They were there for 40 years. We do have so they think the basement's haunted over at Angelo's down at 6th Ave.
It
A
was
scary
haunted.
place.
Yeah, and we had an employee working in the kitchen. She goes downstairs. She was there for a week, and she came up white, like she was just scared, and her hair was standing up, and she had this look in her eyes, and she said, "There's a guy in the basement," and we're like, so we all went down there because we didn't know, was it a homeless guy that wandered down there, and so we went down there, and there's no one in the basement. And so we asked her about it. She's like, I was standing here. I was getting the ice cream out of the freezer, and there was a guy, and I said, hola, senor. And then I took the ice cream and turned around, and he was gone. He wasn't there anymore. I took him upstairs. You saw that picture that was sent today?
You showed
I just
it
got
to
the
her.
chills.
Don't tell me that. You showed that
I just got the chills. I showed her that picture, and she just stood there, and she grabs her arms, and she looks at me, and she has this look in her face like that, and that was him. And so she thinks that she saw. She had no idea the story about Angelo or the restaurant. And so that was something that really – and this happened about a year and a half ago.
I think we have a picture of Angelo. Jay, you'll probably show it here on the screen. It's probably going to pop up.
Yeah, it's
here
popped up a couple times.
And probably wouldn't surprise you, Albert, for your brother. He didn't want to – he wanted to be around all the time in the business.
Oh, he was obsessed and driven. OCD. He would have slept there. I mean –
Love the business.
Oh, my gosh.
So businesses change hands all the time, right?
Yeah.
But there were a couple of things, and to me, towards the end there, it got a little dark for the Laveo family and that business, right? The things that were worth saving were the names and the pizza.
Yeah.
After that. But that was something that the neighborhood almost demanded from you, right?
Yeah,
Talk a little bit about that.
So my partner, Craig Jones, and I, this is back in late 2012, we were looking to, he owned a pub on Pearl, the pub on Penn, couple neighborhood bars, like places you go and drink and root your college team on. And so at the time, going back 7 years ago, there was a growth in that market in Denver. And he wanted to stay away from restaurants, to be honest. Craig was like, I don't want to open up another restaurant again. So we were looking at the Angelo space because he knew a friend that worked with at the Bank of Denver. And so they knew someone. Yeah. And so knew someone that worked there, and they said that they were through talking. They said, they think that she may be closing the doors at Angelo's. So Craig went and talked with her, and we love the spot. It was across the street from Don's, busy road, and so she was really interested. Roxanne was really interested in what we had what Craig was offering, and then we talked to the neighborhood association. And they said, if you touch Angelo's, we will fight you on your – because it was just beer and wine.
Yeah,
so their liquor license was just beer and wine. And you need alcohol, that extra mix in there to really track. So we thought that was a really strong, important part of the puzzle. And so we met with the neighborhood association, and we talked to different members, and they said, don't mess with Angelo's. And it resonated with us. And we're like, if we want to be in this space, in this location, we need to listen to what the neighborhood is saying. Yeah. Regardless of what our thoughts, what we wanted for the space were. And so we talked about it, and we were eating. So we went to lunch at the kitchen downtown, and we're eating oysters. And he's like, do you want to do this? Do you want to run a restaurant with a kitchen? And I'm like, well, we got a couple of guys that were working for the Laveos at Angelo's with Roxanne. Uh-huh. They've been there for 13 years, 15 years. I'm like, we have these guys that they're solid employees. Yeah. Let's keep it going.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, and let's go. Let's give it a shot. Let's put everything we have into it, and let's see if we can make it work. What's the worst case scenario? If it did not work, if we didn't get people to come in the door to enjoy the food, we had the opportunity to turn it into a bar at that point. We could put a pool table in the back, and that's the reality of how we approached it. And we opened the doors, and people kept coming in the door, and they were just couldn't believe it. And we knew what we were working with because of the history of where they were with their sales. So we look at their business plan and what they had going on with sales. So we know we had something that we could start with, and we wanted to build on it from there. And it took off like a rocket ship. And it was really important to us to be that neighborhood restaurant. For 40 years, it was the place where we shared stories with Roxanne. She said it was a snowstorm, 12, 15 inches of snow. Everything around is closed down. No one's going anywhere, except Angelo's was open, and there was people lined up out the door to get into the place. It was warm. It was cozy. It was pizza and pasta, and it was just a welcoming place. And that is what Craig and I wanted to keep going on with Angelo's in that neighborhood. And I feel like we did a pretty good job over the last 6-7 years now building on that.
Oh,
yeah.
packed every time I drive by.
It's unbelievable.
I love those stories.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's the true.
So 45 years until now, and I'm hoping for another 45 years with this new ownership, and I really, truly don't see why.
Thanks,
You'll be
Greg.
down there haunting people in the future.
I'm haunting
I want to
right now.
continue with this for another segment, but we have so much ground to cover.
Hey,
It's
let's
a
do it.
2 hours. The first hour we're going to do food. The next hour we're going to do a lot of.
Before we go, we got to find. We're trying to find out. We asked Roxanne. She didn't have the answer. We want to know why Angelo put green chilies in his meatballs.
Wait, can we hold on
Hold
to
on.
that?
Hold on.
He doesn't know. So
I don't know.
I was getting. Yeah, you don't know.
I worked there when Angelo first opened it in the 70s. You know, I worked in restaurants, but he treated me like a redheaded stepchild a lot of the time.
Keep out of the kitchen.
So I worked at the library and Ichabod's and other places around town. But
let's hold that thought. We'll come back. We've got
Okay.
plenty of time. Okay, this is cool. Eric Hyatt from Angelo's here with us. We've got a lot of ground to cover. This is a treat. Albert Laveo. This is Angelo's brother.
This is a treat.
This is a fantastic
God.
treat.
I'm
And my
so
mother,
flattered.
Patricia Peterson. There he is, Brian Freeman. You're back. You're feeling good. All's well in the world. We're going to go to the Little Rich corner. Little Rich has it all locked and loaded over there. I love it. Welcome back from Mexico, Little Rich. We'll break off from iHeart. Come back in a flash. The Modern Eater Show on iHeart Radio.
Woo! That was a great opening segment. Angelo's, are you kidding me? And so look what we've got for you. Real close to Angelo's, Carboy Winery. I snagged Big Kevin. He's going to tell us a little bit about Carboy.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. So Carboy Winery is Colorado's fastest growing winery. We've opened 3 locations in 3 years, beginning with our flagship location in Littleton in 2016. Then we opened up another one in the mountains in Breckenridge in 2018. And then a new location this last fall in Denver, right in the heart of Capitol Hill. So our focus is just making the best Colorado wine that we can. We'd love to be Colorado's premier winery, put Colorado wine on the map, and really grow this amazing industry here in Colorado with some really cool stuff we're doing.
They've got a lot going on, and the wines are spectacular. You're going to learn a lot more about them. We're going to have them come up probably about another 15, 20, it may be towards the last half of the show, but this is going to be awesome. You're going to learn a whole lot. Stay tuned. Stay right here. Don't leave. Stay here with us at the Modern Eater. We will help you get better by learning a whole lot more about Colorado's fantastic food scene. We'll be right back. Eater family, it's Little Rich. Everybody needs insurance, but do you have the insurance you need? When we opened Studio Kitchen, Colorado, home of the Modern Eater, we had no idea what insurance we needed. We didn't even know where to begin. Times like that, I turn to the experts. Our insurance expert, Brian Brenning with the Ewing Levitt Agency. Brian makes the coverage discovery process easy and seamless. Here's what you can expect from Brian and the team at Ewing Levitt. The absolute safest coverage, fair, low rates, quick response time, and honest, straightforward service. I've been in business 40 years. I trust Brian Brenning and Ewing Levitt Agency. He's not just an insurance expert. He's my friend. Make him your friend and expert too by calling the Ewing Levitt Agency today, 970-679-7374. For the best and most reliable insurance coverage, that's 970-679-7374. It's the Ewing Levitt Agency.
30 seconds till I read.
Here from Raquelitas Tortillas. Raquelitas, known for hyper-local, innovative, and healthy tortillas and chips, served by Colorado's top chefs, and that's why we own
20 seconds till I read.
our oil. If you too want to serve the healthiest, most vibrant tasting foods, you must use Colorado Mills. Colorado Mills is hyper-local, Colorado-grown, cold
10 seconds till I read.
fry or saute. Get your Colorado Mills today. Available through
5 seconds.
and Dawn Foods. For the best oil in the business, use Colorado Mills.
Stop.
Okay, back at the show in just a minute, and Angelo's and Eric Hyatt. You're welcome. Right now, I want to talk to you about Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. This is where it's at. Jeff Rourke has been gone for a little bit with his wife. They went on vacation. They're back, and they're ready to go. Tap line supreme. if you're installing tap lines or you need maintenance, it's Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage
And
Solutions.
any kind of beverage.
He's the authority, man. If you want to add a coffee line, a water line, a nitro line, Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions, a family man, 30 years in the business. If you have a question, give him a call. Truly, I want to ask the world, are you using Jeff Rourke? Because if you are, I know that the beer is tasting just like the brewers intended it to taste. Here's the number. This is how you can give them a call. 720-272-3809.
One more time.
I know
I'm
you
going
need
to
it
get my
again.
pen and write it down.
720-272-3809. It's Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions.
Hey, this is Brother Luck from Colorado Springs. All right, you ready? Owner of 4 by Brother Luck and Lucky Dumplings. I mean, he's a very, very impressive man. And you're rocking with the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Okay, cool. Back at it. Studio Kitchen, Colorado. Eric Hyatt here with us. Angelo's Taverna. First of all, Taverna. Why the Taverna?
You wanted to do, we're looking for that tavern feel. And Taverna sounded Greek, and I just spent a lot of time looking online and, looking at Italian kind of sounding additions to it. We were adding the oyster bar when we reopened that in 2013. So we're looking up oysteria and things that, names that had something to do with that. And Taverna just popped and stuck.
I'm glad.
I like it.
I do,
Yeah.
too. I like it a
Taverna.
lot.
It's simple and, yeah.
Perfect. We're walking down memory lane, and then we're going to get into what is Angelo's today. Albert Laveo here with us, Angelo's brother. Wow, it's cool having you here with us. And my mother, Patricia Peterson. All these guys they ran together, This was their clique. They had some pretty cool things going on. I'll bet you stuff that you can't even repeat happened there, right?
Yeah.
It's
Potentially in the basement.
Yeah, it's the business.
Albert was the youngest one. He was just a pain in the neck. We tried to stay away from him. He used to try to stick needles in us and stuff.
They used to play music in the basement. They had a whole band set up down there. There was keyboard and
past my time.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
Hey, be careful, Mom, when you're saying that you're trying to sticking needles in people means something different these days. It means something.
It's not pulling on your pigtails anymore, Patricia.
This was back in the 60s, that was before that.
Right now.
The oysters.
I just had a couple during the break, and I got to tell you, these are the baked. You're baked?
Yeah, these are the char-grilled oysters. So we do char-grilled oysters 4 ways there. We have 3 on the menu all the time. These are the originals. It's seasoned with butter with garlic, pecorino romano cheese, herbs and spices, and topped with some extra pecorino on top. It melts in there. They're so good, bubbly and delicious.
Well, and usually they taste fishy to me, so I don't like my oysters cooked, and I will tell you there was none of that. Yeah,
not even close. It's amazing.
Yeah. I was really happy with them. I'm excited to try your fresh as we continue to move on here. But you've got both, and one is more for, like you said, this is the one we use our char grill versus these are the ones that we use fresh. Why is that?
We always use the Goose Point oyster for the cooked oysters. The meat holds up really well to cooking. It's a solid, reliable size on the oysters as well. It's a living thing that it grows, and sometimes when they're harvested, they're not consistent in size. It's some different varieties. With the Goose Points, you can rely on it day in, day out.
Yeah, we'll actually spend a segment talking to Paul Kuntz and the Seattle Fish Company about these delicious oysters. But I got to ask you, why? Here it is. So you chose to keep the pizza.
Yep.
At Angelo's.
No brainer on that.
Is there
pizza,
anything else
sauce.
you kept?
We kept the meatballs and the sausage recipe. Clyde's makes our sausage for us, and it's Angelo's recipe sausage. They do all the grinding for us. We do it. We get ground sausage for the pizza as well. So with that, the pizza dough, the red sauce, the Italian dressing is Angelo's recipe for the Italian dressing, and it's phenomenal. And people drive, I'm not kidding, hours for the ranch at Angelo's.
Really?
Ranch dressing is phenomenal.
Because you make it in-house, obviously.
We make it in-house. And
so between us, is it really all that?
It's really freaking good. It is. It's really good.
Are you using a yogurt, a dry powder? What makes it? I mean, and I don't want to ruin your secret. Obviously.
Oh, I don't care. You do it all you want. It's buttermilk is the
buttermilk's the key thing.
Yeah, it's the key. Yeah, it's the key ingredient. It's a little more expensive, and some people don't use buttermilk when they make dressings because of the cost factor on it. And it's funny when we were talking about we were just doing menu discussion last week with our head chef Scott, who's working the window tonight, and we were talking about the ingredients that go into this, and he's, we use buttermilk, and it's 5 times more expensive than milk is, but it delivers a better product. It's not. I mean.
Hey,
on the belly.
Jay Parker here. You ready for my first statement?
Yeah.
If you don't make your own dressings in your restaurant, I don't want to go to your restaurant.
Okay.
So you don't eat
the ranch that comes out of the jug, or what? You can tell. You can tell right away. No, I don't. You can tell right away if it's a good dressing, and that just says a lot about caring about the small things. There's my 2 cents.
So if you don't want Jay at your restaurant,
that's right.
You know what to do.
Buy it in a bottle.
But you know what? I say it for all of us, because quite honestly, a scratch kitchen is the kind of kitchens that we want to support versus, one of the things that just kills me is when I walk in any establishment. And the reality is they don't last long. And so I think that's part of what you see in the turnover in the restaurant business. But when you walk in somewhere and someone's taking wings or something out of a bag and pouring it into a fryer.
Yeah, just serve
right there, it's just, and we've had lots of guests on the shows that talk about, some of the most important things at any restaurant. What? Four items, right? 4 items will make any restaurant successful. Do you remember them?
Yeah, pizza, tacos, burger, and what's the other?
Wings. I thought it was wings, wasn't it? Yeah, pizza, taco, burger, and wings. But I got this place up in Evergreen that's just terrible because it's the cheapest frozen patties. Everything comes right off of one of those distributors' trucks and either onto their fryer, and that's not food, and I always wonder how those people stay in business.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you're shopping at 7-Eleven. I mean, no, seriously though. But there's a place for those foods.
Sure.
We still need those foods for guys like me most of the time. But it's not if you have a brick and mortar and you're not 7-Eleven, you gotta.
Hey, I won't come if you don't make fresh ranch, but if you have a hot dog on that little spinny thing with some quesadillas, I'm in.
Why oysters? Why'd you want to add oysters?
So oysters come 2 parts. So when we were talking about about Angelo's and sticking with the menu and the kitchen, we were eating oysters downtown, and we were paying $4 a piece for them, and we're just like, let's just get like 6 of them, and it would be so cool if they were less expensive. And we could buy a lot more and eat a lot more oysters. Everywhere you went around town, it's $4 for an oyster. And this is 7 years ago. And so we took a trip in the summer before we were opened up, 2013. We went out to Tamales Bay in California, north of the bridge. And so we started working our way up. My partner, Craig, our architect, Justin, was there, and some friends. And we worked our way up and just went to every little oyster bar we found. There was 4 of them along the way. Hog Island's there. There's just up and down that bay in Tamales Bay, we stop and eat, and everyone's got char-grilled oysters on the menu. They got barbecue. They got different flavors to it. The one that we have, the gorgonzola with bacon, and then we do one with Breckenridge bourbon too. We actually use Lich from Breckenridge bourbon. It's like, you're cooking with my whiskey. I was like, yeah, loves it. So we put that into the recipe for that char-grilled oyster.
You love the business, don't you?
I do.
You can see the passion, man. I love it.
Yeah. And so we were up and down, and we were eating oysters. And we was like, we got to do this. And it all started, too, when we went, there was another oyster part of the equation. We did a bachelor party down in New Orleans for a buddy of his, JJ. And he runs here's a shout-out, and he runs a little pub that's over by Regis University, Rocky Top Tavern. So we go there for his bachelor party, and we are in New Orleans, and we're at there's a festival, there's jazz playing, and we see this tent, and there's just tons of smoke coming out of this tent. We got to see what's going on over there. And there's Dragos cooking up char-grilled oysters in there, and we ate them. We just blew our minds how good they were. And that was the first time we ever had them. And we came back to Denver. No one was cooking char-grilled oysters. There was not one on the menu. You can get like an Oysters Rockefeller, but no one was doing it. And so we saw an opportunity. Craig had an idea of putting a grill on the front sidewalk and just handing people char-grilled oysters as they went by. And luckily we didn't have to do that, but we had a lot of fun with it when people were coming in the door.
I love this.
And they love them. They eat them up. They're so good.
I love this story.
So good.
It's 6:30 on 630 KHOW, an iHeart radio station. Joined with us Eric Hyatt from Angelo's, but so much more. We haven't even covered Logan Street and Ivy on 7th, and that's we got a lot more time. We're going to do that too. There's so much cool stuff. Governor's Park. Remember Governor's Park, Mom?
Sure.
It's not Governor's Park anymore.
You know what it is?
It's Carboy, isn't it? And Ivy Street.
And Logan Street.
Yeah.
Have you ever been down south Patricia?
I have not.
They have a place down south that I will tell you what. I just sent someone there today, and I didn't realize that you were on the show tonight. But I'll tell you, your South Place and what you're doing with Breckenridge Brewery down there.
This is a cool spot, right?
That is such a cool spot,
Well,
man.
it's funny. It's so cool that Albert, who should just have undying loyalty to the 6th Avenue Angelo's, says down south is my
is your haunt? Is that it? Oh, well, I've seen concerts there. It's just a great place. We've eaten. You guys carry the Corner Post meats.
Yeah,
down there. Big shout out to Adrian and Dan at Corner Post.
They're awesome. We do dinner with those guys. I don't know. We didn't do it this last summer, but we've done like 2 or 3 with them.
Yeah, I was there. I actually went to one of your dinners and just phenomenal night. Yeah.
Open pit fire cooking, hanging out with the pigs. That's awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah.
They're doing the right things, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. Let's break away. First of all, Albert, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure, Greg. Good to see you after all these years.
Oh, well, listen, don't be a stranger, but any just last thoughts? I mean, you've got to be kind of warmed up by all of this, seeing this legacy move on.
I'm so happy that you guys are so successful there, and I love driving by there and saying, hey, Angelo is my brother.
Honk at me next time.
I will.
What car are you driving?
How cool!
I drive a little Honda.
All right, I'll look for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Don't take the headset off. We'll break off. But hey, mom. Okay, it's okay. I'll break. I just wanted to tell you I love you and so much. It's amazing having you on this particular show because we've spent a lot of time at Angelo's. That back patio. How many birthday parties have we had back there?
And I just want to mention that my big claim to fame to Angelo's is I helped him open it in '74.
Oh,
yeah. I was his cashier. He was afraid people were going to steal from him. So little did he know.
They might be able to use you today.
Yeah, you never know.
So the memory I have is that when you first walked into the door of Angelo's, there was just a little takeout window right to the kitchen. You'd see that takeout window. It's changed so much. That's where you see that bar now. What?
Do you remember the oven in the window that faced out onto 6th Avenue?
Uh-huh.
It was a Rotoflex oven with 3 or 4 tiers, and you could see the pizzas spinning around from 6th Avenue.
I love it. History turns into the future, and that's what we're doing here tonight. Eric Hyatt with us. We're going to cover some ground. We'll come back in a flash. Little Rich in the Little Rich Corner. Welcome back from Mexico. Keep tuned in here with us on the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
That was a good one. That was a real good one. You know, we go to Angelo's a lot, Greg, and Jay and I just have meetings about the Modern Eater. Well, look who I've got here. I've got Big Paul Kuntz, the big kahuna at Seattle Fish.
No, let's don't go that far.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Man, so what all do you do down there, Big Kahuna?
Well, I buy most of the shellfish that we sell, and I also work as a salesperson. So I sell it to Angelo's, and I buy it for Angelo's.
Man, you're bringing it in and getting it out and all that stuff.
Trying.
And little birdie told me you've been doing this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, a couple.
How long?
28 years.
You know what? And it's experience like that's what makes a business run fantastic.
Yeah, I think the continuity is really important. So
absolutely, those relationships with the suppliers and customers and all, it's everything.
Correct.
Yeah, it's more than just spreadsheets.
Yes, sir. It's the core of our business is our relationships, especially with our customers.
Community restaurant and bar with a menu focusing on vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and keto options. Comfort food lovers, try the best burger on planet Earth. I love it. 8 ounces of grass-fed beef and never, ever any hormones, antibiotics, or steroids. The Goods is truly a cultural melting pot, a family restaurant open to all. Their bar program is amazing. Saddle up at their long, luxurious bar, have a nice craft beer or a cocktail. Like their Facebook page and stay up on amazing events and specials going on throughout the week. Located on East Colfax, directly connected to the Tattered Cover Bookstore, across from East High School with free parking in a garage in back. Look them up online, thegoodsrestaurant.com. I'll see you at the Goods.
Wear black and eat spices. Hey, Modern Eater listeners, this is Zach from The Spice Guy, Colorado's favorite spice company. Spice is the variety of life. At The Spice Guy, we have a passion for sourcing the best ingredients from the best farmers all over the world. Choose from thousands of different GMO-free spices and ingredients, or let us create and blend custom flavor profiles for whatever style of food it is that you're working with. With over 1,000 restaurants, food brands, and chefs behind us, you can't go wrong when you choose The Spice Guy for all your spice needs. The Spice Guy.
Spicy.
Born in Breck, raised in Denver.
TheSpiceGuyCo.com.
All right, back to the show in just a second. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about Aspen Baking Company. Aspen Baking Company It's baking bread fresh every single day, and it's hoagies, focaccias, ciabattas, baguettes, croissants, bear claws, lobster rolls, pound cakes, you name it, they bake it. They're also doing boxed lunches, so if you need to cater your employees or just throw a party, they're doing boxed lunches with delicious Rome sausage in them. It's aspenbaking.com. Hashtag how's your Aspen. That's right. Hollis and Cody Ann will take great care of you over at Aspen Baking. I'll say the website one more time, and then we're going to get back to the show here on the Modern Eater with Angelo's Taverna, Carboy Winery, Logan Street Restaurant, Ivy on 7th, and more. Make sure you check out aspenbaking.com.
Hi, Michael Myers from Distillery 291. I'll say whatever you want me to say. That'll get me in trouble. Write it like you stole it, drink it like you own it. You're listening to The Modern Eater on iHeartRadio.
Okay, back at it. This is cool. Eric Hyatt rejoins us.
Hey, let me ask you, Greg. Does this seem like you're just a big family reunion tonight? Doesn't it?
I mean, I'm loving tonight. And first of all, the Spice Guy just comes in. There's Zach Johnston, our friend Matt. He's here. Happy birthday. Biker Jim Pittenger's here. Gigi's here. Gigi Youngblood. The family. And you're going to get
Mark
to know
from Trebucha.
Mark from Trebucha.
There's so many. It's awesome.
This is pretty awesome.
I'm loving tonight, and the food is coming out. Eric Hyatt, actually, a lot of guests, and this isn't to downplay any of the other guests, but you're a really good guest. You've got great stories. You've been cooking the whole time.
Thanks.
You've been multitasking. You can focus, which is weird in a day and age. I do so many tasks at once. It's like, oh, there's a feather. Let me go get that. But you're so focused. And
ask my wife that same question. she
has a completely different answer for you.
She would agree.
She's like, he cannot multitask. You are not listening to me.
One and done. You're a very talented guy. When did you get into the business?
I was 15 years old in New Jersey. I worked for a restaurant called Chi-Chi's, Mexican restaurant. Funny thing about that, so Chi-Chi's had fajitas on their menu, but since it's Chi-Chi's, they call them chahitas. And so I worked there for 2 years. And so I'm talking to somebody, and we're like,
Chi-Chi's chahitas.
Yeah.
Huh?
And they said, let's go get some fajitas. I go, what? And they said, fajitas. And I said, they're called chahitas. And they're like, no, it's fajitas. And they're like, I work at a Mexican restaurant. I know what it's called. All these years, I thought fajitas were called chahitas.
That's gold.
I was a host, and then a busboy, and then a server.
Your whole life.
Yeah, and then I worked my way up. I had to pay for a lawyer. Ran into some trouble back in '93, so I worked in the kitchen during those times. So I had a little bit of fun, and worked pretty much every position in the restaurant.
Now, Jay, he's a lifetime guy too, right? How long in the business, Jay?
15 to 43, whatever that is.
15
on average.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm not good in math, but I can cook some eggs.
That's right.
It'd be 28 years, but we're no one's counting.
Here in Eric Hyatt, right, and his stories, Jay's always trying to convince folks that have been in the business a long time that you really don't like your customers.
Well, now, first of all, Eric, don't just jump on board with that's what I'm trying to do. What I like to have a conversation about sometimes with restaurant owners or managers or somebody that can share in my 28-year-old pain. And that being said, I've never owned my own place, and so I'm sure that I would think a little bit differently. I really don't think too much, but I think a little bit different if I own the joint. However, problems with guests from time to time, and we all have stories of somebody freaking out and trying to kill you with an oyster shell or whatever the case may be. So when we do these interviews, I just kind of like to say, hey, listen. Give us one story of a guy freaking out because the pepperoni was too crispy, and even though he asked for it crispy, you brought it out crispy, but it's too crispy.
Eric, have you had to drag anybody out by their ear over there at Angelo's?
We have.
Really?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Jay will love this.
Yeah,
Jay's like, of course they have, man.
We had a situation. I don't know if I could talk about it for legality reasons, but we had to drag a couple people out of there. They get a little bit unruly. But for the most part, being a neighborhood spot, in general, we see a lot of people maintaining status quo.
Industry people come over there?
Industry people do. The nice thing about Angelo's is if you're in the industry and you just say you're in the industry, you get 25% off your bill.
Oh, 25%.
Wow. Yeah, awesome. Not booze, man. You can pay off, but happy hour prices too. So anything.
Oh, Jay, you would hate that.
You come in for dinner.
You would hate that.
I'd be like, pay stub, bro, and it better not say Walgreens. That doesn't count.
I don't care about his pay stub.
Jay, what's the restaurant you want to own if you won the lottery?
Oh, I'm going to call it Lotto Bar.
Lotto bar.
Yeah, Lotto bar. I'm going to open it with the express intent of running it out of business. And the way I'm going to, or at least plan on doing it, is basically I will not only encourage and advocate for my servers and bartenders to take their filters out for guests, and the security will be high. I'll have a lot of the door guys to do it, but that's if I win the jackpot, not because I want to be able to put $100,000 into a place to throw it away. That's my dream.
Just sick and wrong, yeah. Like he doesn't know what. Yeah, little 1,000 square foot place.
Yeah, somebody come over
in Aurora.
No, listen. I'm not saying I'm trying to build a place from the ground up for $100,000. It's you take over a place that's already failing, right? So you can get in for cheap, and I'll put $100,000 into some bells and whistles, and then I'll just nosedive it by telling the bartenders and servers, "Hey, listen, if somebody has an allergy and they're asking you 20 questions, you tell them what's on your mind. You tell them exactly what's on your mind, and you watch them walk out the door, and if I'm lucky,
okay with it.
In 3 months the doors close and we had a lot of fun."
Yeah.
But he's right, though. When you own the place, you think a lot differently. I was a career bartender for years, and I had a lot of things I wanted to say to people. Just, I had 3 feet of wood over between the space of us. It felt you could do those things. But when you own a place, it takes on a whole different meaning.
Perspective.
Yeah, it takes on a different perspective. Yeah.
Well, don't you see that? Jay and I actually had a conversation, and we had it from that owner-employee perspective.
Yeah.
Because as an owner, I feel like, you're the bartender? It's your job to fill the bar. That's your job. That's why I'm hiring you to bring all your friends down here so your friends tell your friends.
Jay did
not like that because he's like, no. My job is just to pour drinks.
Well, first of all, let's just back up to a statement that you just said. And you said, I'm hiring you to bring in all your friends, and I'm hiring you to pack this place. That's not what you're hiring me for, in my opinion. Now, listen, that's some bells and whistles that may come with a great employee or my personality that likes to do that, right? But there are companies for marketing. There are companies. That's an owner that is trying to cut some corners in the way of marketing. And not to say that it's a bad idea. If I owned the place, I'd say the same thing. I mean, that's where I'm. That's where.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. All right.
Against gravity.
I derailed that myself, so I'll take full responsibility. But Eric, working with people, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? When you are the boss, you're working with people and all the different folks that little nuances. And I don't feel well today. And you're like, really? Are you, is it one of those you had a little too much to drink last night type of thing? Working with folks, what's that been like?
So, in the beginning, and you asked my partner Craig, and he started giving me, loosening up the reins and letting me kind of take things over. I would call him everything. I'm like, hey, this so-and-so is sick. And like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be down a server. He said, figure it out, man. Yeah. Call someone in. Yeah. I'm like, well, their day off. I don't want to call them in on their day off. I was so tepid. Like, I was afraid to do anything I was never
because
nervous.
You were the bartender guy that got the calls, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Come fill in
and so when I took over Angelo's and started and working with my partner Craig on it, our goal was to build a really good team. And I found if I took care of my employees first and foremost, and I always have my employees back. If something happens this is really what happened. I got their back on this, and I take care of my employees. They'll take care of us, and it worked out really well. That's the neighborhood vibe that we get at Angelo's, because first and foremost, I need to take care of my staff. We do a trip every year, too. We take anyone who's worked at the restaurant for a year and is full-time, 3 days or more, we take them on a trip. We go to California, go to wine country.
Nice.
We've been to up in Seattle and Oregon. We just did Texas this year.
Well, that's a big thing to build culture.
I just want to throw something out about how awesome that is and how rare that is, that Eric and the company does that. Because I've worked at a few different places in my life, but I've known a million people that have worked at a million different bars.
They take you to Dave & Buster's, though, don't they?
And no, not only do they take you to Dave & Buster's, they cut your discount from 50% off food to 25% on food.
Oh, yeah, that happened recently.
Yeah, it did. And listen, I you know, all jokes aside, I don't really care about that. But I'm saying, like, him actually, somebody that's put in a year investment to throw a little bit back. I mean, anything. A $20 bill one day that goes, you worked here a year, here's a 20 spot, let alone taking them on a vacation. It's admirable, and it's awesome, and it's incredible, and that's what feeds a great staff is people that are happy.
Well, think about that mentality, though, Jay. You've got.
I want to run mine down.
We got to get you to a place of where your talent, people want you at that. Like,
let's break away right. We've been talking a lot of. I want to get to Logan Street and Ivy on 7th.
All right,
let's do that in the next segment, and then at 7 o'clock we'll do oysters, and then from 7:15 to the end of the show we'll talk wine.
Talk wine.
Deliciousness.
All right, we got some exciting stuff to talk about.
This is good stuff. Okay, still a ton of ground to cover. I'm loving Eric Hyatt here with us tonight, and Little Rich is in the Little Rich corner with Gigi Youngblood. Gigi brightens up a room all the time. I think there's a little dinner coming up. It's on Monday. A lot of people are going. I hope you're going too. We'll see you there. Little Rich will talk about it right now on the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Woo, we're over here in the corner, and I've got someone with me. When you talk about people, you've got that are known, people that are known with one name. You've got like Elton, Cher, Madonna. Gigi is that with Colorado community. You just need to say Gigi, and everyone knows who it is. Thanks for coming. Looks like you're having a horrible time.
Yes, terrible. Angelo, Carboy, it's amazing in here tonight.
Oh,
and just all the guests, amazing as always.
I know. So what is coming up, Gigi? I hear you've got something to tell us.
Monday night, you better have your tickets already because we have ACF Colorado is having their amazing gala coming up. Beautiful food, helping out all of the culinary apprentices.
Yep.
And it's just a great program, and it's a great evening, and you're going to be sitting with Rich, you're going to be sitting with the guys. I mean, just everybody that you can possibly want to be with in town is going to be there. So come, support the cause. It's amazing food, and it's a great time.
I think there's just like a handful of tickets left. But if you want to buy some, where would we go?
ACFColoradoChefs.org.
Oh, that's awesome. I know. It's like Vanna White of food. Hey, we're going to be right back. We've got some words coming up. Do me a favor. Stay here with your friends at the Modern Eater. We will make you better. We'll be back.
Lacolitas tortillas and the Modern Eater. Our wraps fold cold and don't break open, yet they're soft and delicious. What's my secret? Ardent Mills. Organic, ancient, and heirloom grains like quinoa, spelt, and more. Locally headquartered in Denver, Colorado, Ardent Mills provides the industry's broadest range of traditional and organic flours, whole grains, customized blends, and specialty products dedicated to providing the culinary industry with the next grains and unique plant-based ingredients. I love Ardent Mills, and I know you will too. To bake the best, you must use the best. Learn more at ardentmills.com.
Taxes, payroll, and workman's comp? Ugh. If you're a business owner, I bet hearing me say those dirty words made you cringe. Hi, I'm Rebecca Berry with Forth, and I know growing and managing a business can seem overwhelming and just daunting at times. But at Forth, we've got you covered. Forth knows you want to take your business to the next level. Forth was designed to be the partner you need and will allow you to free up your time and resources to do what you do best, grow and manage your business. Call me. Let's talk about how I can help. 720-436-8047. That's 720-436-8047. Rebecca with Forth.
Listen up, barbecue lovers. Greg Hollenback here for Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions. Proud Souls is Denver's authority of all things barbecue. Do you rule your neighborhood with the best backyard barbecue? From beginners to pit masters, Proud Souls has all the equipment you could possibly want. A variety of wood, pellet, and charcoal grills and smokers. Award-winning pit masters and owners of Proud Souls, Dan and Tony, have a passion for barbecue, and it shows. Located on 25th and Federal, Proud Souls retail store is bursting at the seams with your barbecuing essentials, the Spice Guy spices, and superior flavored fuels for your pit like hickory, mesquite, oak, pecan, cherry, apple, peach, maple, grape, and a variety of blends. Hit their website, ProudSoulsBBQ.com, for delicious hands-on barbecue classes and get information on current promotions and deals. For the best in barbecue, locally owned and operated on 25th and Federal, there are guys. Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions. That's ProudSoulsBBQ.com.
Whose cuisine reigns supreme?
You're listening to the Modern Eater Show,
The ultimate gourmet challenge.
and it's time for In the Kitchen.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Brian's in the zone. Eric Hyatt, I think, is feeling it right now. Just kind of in the crease.
Well, we got good food and booze. I mean, we've got great pizza and
Are
wine.
you going to call this delicious wine booze? What is it going to be?
I mean, listen.
Why not? I had a guy from, he was the head of the distilling, National Distilling, organization, Guild. Distilling Guild.
Smiley?
No. It was, the head honcho. We were down. He reprimanded me for calling whiskey booze.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
What should you call it? Hooch?
We were down at the Hyatt, right?
Whiskey,
Yeah.
I didn't really understand it, but he made it a point. Do not.
That's when
call
you
it
steal the movie line from Ghostbusters and you go, "Lighten up, Francis."
That's right.
I think that would be Stripes there, Mr. Ghostbuster. But
good call.
It's okay. Who's watching details like that?
was Googling
Hey, Eric,
Ghostbusters.
Angelo's, but Logan Street also. Are you involved with Logan Street?
I am, yeah. So Craig, my partner, and I, we partnered up with some very talented people. So in addition to Chef Scott Hibbeneth, who's behind the menu at Angelo's and Carboy Winery, and he's working over there right now in the window. We brought on Maggie O'Malley and then Chef Rebecca Weitzman.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Chef Rebecca is one of the Colorado 5 this year.
Yep, she's good.
Yeah,
she's good. I'm excited to work with her this year.
Amazing. We went out to see her 2 years ago in the summer. Scott is good friends with Rebecca, so he said, you should check her out. She's thinking about coming back to Denver. And we knew we were opening up another location for Carboy Winery in Denver with a different food concept from Angelo's. Angelo's worked really well in Littleton, but we're too close to Angelo's in Denver, so we want to do a different concept.
Yeah, way too close.
Way too close. So we flew out to New York, and she was working Crystal Lakes, I think, Estates. It was where they do these huge
like weddings, right? It's event center. Yep,
Event
I'm pretty sure I know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't have 150 grand, you can't book the place.
Yeah.
And she was cooking gourmet meals for 150, 250 people. We went out to the event. She did a tasting in the garden. Big old table set up, and all around the herbs and spices and things she uses to cook with and season with. And we had an amazing meal. Had coffee with her the next morning, and it was done. We knew that she was the right gal for us.
Nice.
We hit on all 8 cylinders. Just the communication, the banter, the joking, just getting each other. And the most important thing was we were able to communicate together. That was awesome.
That's important.
Yeah, express what we wanted.
I love that you guys went out so far to find something like that.
Oh, yeah, it was
That's
a good
cool.
trip. That was a fun trip, too.
And I love her food. Truly great food. So here it is, and we'll get you all squared away.
I keep messing up with this
all
thing.
right. We're eating and drinking, and the mic will fall down.
I did bring some food from her at Logan Street and from Ivy on 7th. So we opened up Ivy on 7th. It was her first chance to do breakfast. I'm going to bring these over to the front here. I don't know if the camera's
Yes,
getting
they
it.
can.
These are gluten-free pancakes. I don't know where you're going to get gluten-free pancakes in Denver unless you go to Ivy on 7th. It's in the old Lala's building.
Okay, so you're saying I take my fork out?
Please do.
Try it out.
Please do.
Well, you're
Try it
gluten-free these days.
I've been eating gluten-free lately.
I
Yep.
only
So
made them an hour ago.
And they don't look sad and miserable. Those look like fluffy, good, delicious, full-on gluten.
They are phenomenal pancakes. Yeah.
Wow.
they're fluffy, which is right off the
Look
bat
how
one of the
thick that
things.
thing
I know.
is.
Look at that.
And I cooked it.
You did great. First of all, you
Thanks, Rebecca.
No Chef Scott. Wish you were here. But you commanded the kitchen tonight.
Well,
Great
thanks,
job.
Good
Yeah,
job.
I got to tell you though, that's really good.
Good stuff.
Wish Scott was here, but he's not. Eric, you're doing a great job just doing it all, cooking and talking and so on and so forth. You got a lot of your family and friends behind us here. I can't wait to dig in with these
the
folks.
Carboy crew back there rocking us up with some barrel tasting.
But Logan Street, there you go into another location with a ton of history, but this time you decided to remove yourself from all of the past history, name. I was even surprised it's not Logan Street at Governor's Park or some variation. Can you talk about that?
We left the sign up, that Governor's Park sign up. We're hoping to be able to, just like we did with Angelo's, reuse that sign, but we wanted to keep the history of Governor's Park there. We knew going into that space what that meant to the neighborhood and what it meant to Denver. And that space has been so many things. It was a dairy barn. There is a barn in the back where we're working on that right now, where we're going to be making our sparkling wine in Denver. So we're going to be doing the first big production sparkling in Colorado. And so that's going to be happening. It used to be a barn where they kept the cows.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did you have a hard time rehabbing that joint?
No, we didn't.
Well, I wanted to actually ask that.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, it's good because I like the question. We walked past there quite a few times and looked in and go, wow, this is a project.
It was. And so we just demolished the entire
whole thing.
Yeah. We kept the walls and kept that beautiful barrel roof and all the trusses that are in there. We had an amazing architect, Justin Fries, who did all the drawings, and we worked, Maggie and myself worked side by side with him for months, going back and forth. We changed the design of that place probably 4 or 5 times, and we wanted to keep some of the architectural elements of it, but we went down to the dirt. We dropped that whole place down about 5 feet, and we had to re-pour a whole new floor, all new plumbing. Everything was brand new.
What was the turnaround time?
5 months. We got in there in February, so we opened it up in September. What's the math on that? I guess it's six months. 6 months.
Well, that's amazing because I'll tell you that's this concept of, there are icon places in town, but you walk in and you leave and you smell like them. And it's one of the things. And so like Cherry Creek Grill is one of those places I never like to go anymore.
The wood.
Because, you walk out, you smell like you've been in the smoke the whole night.
Yeah.
Your clothes reek. And so it's one of those things. And then there's some old dive bars that I love, but they still, we haven't smoked in bars in 5-10 years. And you walk in and it smells like smoke. Governor's Park, to me, was one of those places where one too many beers had been spilled there over the years.
We got a lot of that, too.
That was interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people talked about that. They're like, man, it really needed to be rehauled or up. But we were amazed when we got in there and started pulling stuff out. They did a great job at keeping that place clean.
Have you had a full patio season yet?
We did have a quarter of a patio season, so we are really excited to get the patio open up front. And then we're working on the courtyard
2 minutes.
too. It's going to be attached to that bubble barn. But there's a lot of history there. There's that palm tree that used to be in Gov's Park.
Sold.
Yeah. Well, we donated it. So the story on that, I called the Botanic Gardens. They said not interested. We already have a Cobellini palm in their gardens, so they weren't interested. I'm like, this is a piece of history here.
Oh, it's been there years.
The Coors family gave him that palm tree. Wow. And when the Coors gave it to him, it was like 30 years old. So the thing has got to be 70 years old. It's been almost 4 years. And it does. And it's at, a shout out to my buddy Kevin, it's at the Bang Up to the Elephant, which is on 13th and Pennsylvania, I think.
I watched the 9 News piece on that back when it was happening, and it's sitting in there, and the guy's in there like, wow, I can't wait to have this. I'm like, wow, how are you going to move that thing?
And they did. They did it in January. I thought that thing was going to not survive, but she's still alive and kicking. So the palm is still going.
We've got an hour to go. You know these folks better than I do. So in about 35 seconds, 1 minute, what can we expect in this next hour? What we'll hear?
You're going to expect there's some there's a big, strong love and passion for wine. But first and foremost, it's all about fun. And one of the things I love about Carboy Winery is we make really good wine, but we strip away that pretentiousness of it, and we have a good time with it.
So people are saying Angelo's and Logan Street and Ivy on 7th. And how does Carboy fit into all of this?
So Carboy, when we started Carboy in 2016, in an effort to bring – so Craig was part of a wine club at Toby Lane. It was in Alexander Valley, California. Part of their wine club, good friends with the family. And we were selling their wine in Denver, and it wasn't moving, and he wanted to sell more wine. So the vintner's license.
Oh, that story right there.
All right.
Vintner's license. That's fantastic. That's what you're going to hear in the second hour right here from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. We'll continue. Eric Hyatt and the crew right here on the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Hoo-wee! Look who I got over here. I got Tyza. This is the guy that creates the magic that is Carboy. Correct?
We try. I'm the winemaker, and I have a great team behind me in the cellar that we're trying to put out some great Colorado wines. Certainly.
You're doing a great job.
Certainly.
So tell me, I'm going to ask a question about Carboy. How long has Carboy been making wines?
So this previous vintage that just wrapped, 2019, was our third vintage utilizing Colorado fruit.
Wow. Nice. And how many different wines? What kinds?
A multitude of wines, white and red varieties, probably about 14 different varieties. You have on the white side Viognier, Albarino, Pinot Gris, to name a couple. And then on the red side, Malbec, Cab Franc, a couple cold hardy varieties as well thrown in there. Yep.
Wow. So here's another question. So you've been making wine for how many years again?
15 years now, yeah. I had to
And you've
do the
been with
math.
Carboy?
3.
Awesome.
3.
Where are you sourcing a lot of your grapes?
So due west from Denver, about 3.5, 4 hours, depending upon how heavy your right foot is. But Palisade primarily, Grand Valley.
Oh,
yep.
Great part of the state.
Oh, beautiful! It's a beautiful drive, especially through.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now I've heard people making tortillas with your wine. Is that correct?
Yes, I've had some delicious tortillas.
We've had a lot of fun for years.
Oh yeah.
And so, what do you think is your favorite wine that you're making?
This season has shaped up to be one of. There's a couple favorites I have NQ, we'll say.
Oh, okay.
But Terraldago is showing some promise in the Grand Valley. Terraldago is a red grape, and we'll taste that a little bit later.
Nice. Yeah, because we're going to have you up on the table. They'll be talking about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. What would you say is your secret sauce? What is it that inspires you to make some fantastic wines?
In all honesty, I love food. I love cuisine, and so I like to drink wines that pair elegantly with food, and that's the goal with the Carboy wines. We have very good restaurants, and we like to provide them with food-friendly wines.
Your restaurants are incredible.
Yes.
You know, one of the things I was talking to Chef about earlier, you've got a balsamic glazed rib that when I'm eating that, I'm like, God, this is one of my 3 favorite foods in the whole world. And when I am eating it, I can't even think of what the other 2 are.
I had that for lunch yesterday. They're addictive. They're quite addictive.
That is incredible. So your secret sauce is wanting to enhance the experience of the diner with that little splash of wine.
Correct. So the goal is to retain the fruit and lively acidity in most of the wines we produce, so that they mesh well and pair well with cuisine.
Now, how about the distribution? So I imagine your wines are available for other restaurants?
Yeah, no, certainly. Kevin Weber is our primary point of contact, and he can be reached via email.
And how do we get a hold of Kevin?
Kevin at carboywinery.com.
Kevin at carboywinery.com.
Correct.
Well, I got to tell you, try their wines. Go to either of the restaurants. Try some of the different varietals.
And we have 3 tasting rooms as well. Littleton, Breckenridge, and Denver now.
Oh, that Breckenridge store is incredible.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful build out.
If people knew the story, you know, it's funny. You go there and eat. You see a beautiful home right on the restaurant right on Main Street, but the history and all that's in that, there's an incredible story in the building.
The Gold Pen Saloon is attached, adjacent, and one of the oldest standing liquor license west of the Mississippi, certainly. Yeah.
And that wasn't it? It had something to do with the military. What was that?
That's a great question. I'm not privy to the complete history of the Gold Pen Saloon.
Something to do with that, and then even the basement, the elevator alone, just to get the forklift down and up.
Yes, the amount of man hours that went into renovating the basement to make it micro winery worthy was a lot of work put in. A lot of work.
It's beautiful. I mean, that's worth driving up there just for that.
Oh, certainly.
Truly it is.
Yeah. And the history of Gold Pen Saloon itself, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So we talked a little bit about the past of Carboy and a little bit about where we are today. What do you anticipate? What do you see coming up in the future for Carboy?
We're just trying to elevate the region itself, and there's a lot of exciting new producers joining the scene, and we're teaming up with distillers and making some unique products as well, and it's really fun to work with the growers that are so passionate and making, the quality is increasing with each season, seemingly.
It's been awesome watching the growth. A lot of the times, the store I go to, because I want to go see Chef Scotty.
Yep.
And so I go out south, and watching the growth of that location,
it's a little overwhelming sometimes.
It's hard to find
I didn't expect that we'd be growing this rapidly so quickly. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's hard to find parking, but the speed of your success there truly is a testament to the experience there.
Oh no, certainly.
The dining, the wine, the views, everything. It's a beautiful spot.
We're excited. We're excited.
Well, hey, you're going to learn a whole lot more when we come back. We'll be back in just a little bit. Stay tuned. Stay here with your friends at the Modern Eater. We're going to make you better. We'll be right back.
Cheers.
416-3240. Again, 303-416-3240. Or check them out along with their many glowing patient reviews at AspenwoodDental.com. That's AspenwoodDental.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, Protect My Car is announcing a low-cost extended service plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay nothing for auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay nothing for auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-806-1586 now. Drivers who are covered by Protect My Car will not have to pay for a covered repair bill again. This auto coverage is at an all-time low, much lower than what dealerships are charging. Additionally, drivers who activate this auto coverage today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and free car rental at no additional cost. Call Protect My Car for your free quick quote today. 800-806-1586. 800-806-1586. What do you have to lose? Again, 800-806-1586.
Denver's talk station. Available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. 630 KHOW, an iHeartRadio station. The following is a paid advertisement. The opinions, viewpoints, and promises made during the following program are not those of KHOW, its staff, management, or parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated.
How about a bite to eat? It's time for the second course, hour number 2 of The Modern Eater.
What are you hungry for?
Here's to a meal we're all here for.
Delicious and tasty.
Now we're getting to the good stuff. With your hosts, Greg Hollenback, Jay Parker, and Brian Freeman.
All right.
Whip it up, guys.
Here it is. Believe it or not. Yeah, let's whip it up there.
After you
This
just
is
asked
fun.
him to tone it down.
I know. I didn't say tone it down. Just keep it clean. Let's have some fun.
Hey-o.
Every guy.
Second hour, we're
Come
off
to
the
middle.
cuff.
I love it. Carboy coming in right now. Greg Hollenback, Brian Freeman. The guys are all lined up here. We'll just go down the line. Eric Weber, how are you?
Kevin Weber.
Is it Kevin? Kevin.
Yeah.
I grew up with an Eric Weber.
Hey,
He's a nice guy.
he wasn't related, but he could have been.
No, I don't think he was related.
So #1, Kevin, in your spot.
I'm director of sales.
Nice. Okay. So you see how much movement's really going on.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, so we started, Tyzak and I started this with Craig back from the beginning. And
man.
my roles kind of changed over the years, but it's always been focused on how much we can sell.
This is going to be a cool hour.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are
gonna
joining
get
us
weird.
here. Kevin Weber here with us as well. I was testing you there. Tyzak, I think we've met Tyzak. Where'd we meet?
We have. I've actually been a guest on this show, I think 2 seasons ago.
We were in Breck,
meaning
wasn't it?
Two vintages for me.
Yeah.
Two vintages.
Two vintages ago.
Well, was it in Breckenridge?
No, it was here. You were
was
set
here.
up on this corner,
Yeah.
so it was in this facility.
You've
Yeah,
been in
certainly.
here before.
I have, yeah.
And Jason, good to see you too. They call you
too,
Snap.
brother. Yeah.
I love how you're all snappy tonight. Good to see you guys.
Got to
What do
class it up. It's a classy show.
Oh, wait, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out.
Some of us, some of us are classy. Yeah.
We'll take it down later. You know?
Wine. Let's dig into some wine from Carboy. First of all, Carboy. What is a Carboy?
Carboy is a vessel. So back in the day, this is the modern version, but back in the day, you had demijohns or carboys. They were large vessels for storing or fermenting or aging, depending on where you were. They used them everywhere from Eastern Europe to Italy to Mexico for tequila.
So we have been to your Breckenridge spot. And what is that? Gold Pan? What is it?
Gold Pan Saloon.
Yeah, right
Gold
next
Pan
door.
Saloon. And saw the basement there. There's a Carboy that's being used in that place, isn't there? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And then now you have the Littleton location and then the Logan Street. This is just getting big, guys. Bigger than part bargain for.
It's not what I had expected, this breakneck speed type
ride.
of growth.
But I got to tell you, got to be happy about that, right, guys?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, certainly. It's exciting. It's third location in 3 years. Is
Fastest growing winery in Colorado.
Well, we see a lot of people in your space on the show, and for a lot, it's a slow, long grind. Yeah. I will tell you that. And so it's exciting to see what you're doing because you are coming up in the ranks, like you said, at hypersonic speed. And that's great. And I think realistically, it's because of the wine that you guys are producing. Because I'll tell you, I've drank a lot of Colorado wine. You have something that's mature, something that's really worthy versus something that's you guys have fun, and I see that.
But let's not get twisted because you say Colorado wine. Not all your grapes are from Colorado. That might be the reason why you have
but we
better wine.
We pivoted our
our business model a couple of years ago, and we came out the gate working with a lot of out of state product, and we really, Tyzak and myself both really wanted to establish a foothold in the ground in Grand Valley and really prove that Colorado is capable of not only growing world-class grapes but producing world-class wine, and I think we're doing that.
It's cool. We were just with Josh Nurnberg there, and in the same region, we were looking at some of the wineries and some of the grapes. But, I mean, you talk about the climate that we live in here. I mean, crops can be wiped out in an instant from that, though, what do they call it? The white combine, the hail comes through.
We're on the frost. We just saw the freeze,
So working with Colorado grapes is an interesting proposition because, obviously, there are grapes from all around the world, and California can probably cover you as well.
Yeah, because we're in the U.S., we get lumped into California, Washington, and Oregon often, great grape growing regions of the world, but, here in the Western Slope, it tends to be a higher elevation, much crazier climate, the hail, the birds, all that stuff. So we're much more like Argentina than we are California, Washington, Oregon at all.
Are any partnerships that you can talk about that you're getting grapes from?
We work with some phenomenal growers out in on the Western Slope. Kaibab Sauvage, Bruce Talbot, Reiner, whose last name escapes me, Poppy Woody. Some really passionate growers that are trying to elevate the entire region, and the quality seems to be on the uptick. I've only been here in 3 vintages, but from what I've seen and had the opportunity to work with, it's been it's exciting, quite exciting.
They're really good partner growers. They're responsive. They listen to what our needs are, and they come to the table with it. So.
Well, I'll piggyback on what Greg talked to a little bit, is this concept of the fact that you might not be using all your grapes are coming out of Colorado. But in my opinion, what you are a Colorado business that does do as much as you can for the Western Slope. But you're not, because what we've talked about with a lot of the Western Slope growers is you're going to get stuck into one varietal of wine or one type style of wine if you are only using the Western Slope. And you're not going to be known for that. And what you have to do is pull out your big guns, in my opinion, and do something that highlights what you're doing in Colorado as well in California, because you got to create a name for yourself, right?
It's a little bit more about not pigeonhole the guest in the Colorado wine or Carboy wine. It's if we have those other regions, California, Washington, and Oregon, they have a choice. We really love Colorado, and we love what's happening here. In the varietals, there's plenty of varietals out there to be had. It's just a matter of the guest that's walking through the door, making sure that we have something that please everybody.
Who's sourcing the grapes?
It's a collective effort.
We all do
we certainly have a panel each year, and we sit down and try to figure out what's working in the market and what's not, and what keeps me excited and involved. For instance, we have some new varieties we picked up this season. Terral de Go in your glass there, and I believe you're tasting the carbonic Mourvèdre.
I know, carbonic maceration.
Carbonic maceration, yeah.
I didn't say maceration.
That was a little bit of a slip there.
That's about
you didn't go all the way. I don't think you put the right B in there.
I didn't do that, did I?
Hey, from a sales standpoint, that would be a really catchy name we could go with.
Wow, the room. I should do more of that.
Yeah. We should call it a blush wine, though, really, because that's what it's causing right now. Yeah.
Even you're blushing.
Yeah.
Hey, I missed it. What did he say?
So carbonic maceration is a form of fermentation.
I said masturbation.
It was close. It was close.
Oh, carbonic maceration. That's the real way to say it?
Yes.
Because I don't understand either one, so never mind.
So carbonic maceration is essentially a fermentation technique that is deployed in Beaujolais, for instance, that creates that kind of bubble gum characteristic, bright red fruit. And so, as you said, we struggle with cold temperature swings sometimes, and there was a frost this last season, and the Mourvèdre did not ripen appropriately, and so we had to experiment, and we did a little experimental wine, and so we harvested the grapes in whole cluster, threw them into a fermentation vessel, sealed up that vessel, injected CO2, and that creates what you said, carbonic fermentation or maceration, which is an intraberry
intracellular fermentation inside the grape.
Can you dig?
I can. We
Did
got
you
1
follow
minute, but
that?
we got to go to
Wait,
break.
no,
But
I mean-
hey, I want to know what's he's excited about. What's in a barrel that no one knows about?
You're drinking.
I'm drinking it right here. I love
Let's
that.
break off. There's so much, and then I want to either solidify or dispel a few things. Brian, do you really know the difference between a varietal and a variety? Do you really know?
No, I'll say no.
Okay.
I'll say no. I mean, I think I do because I think in the produce world, I think I could give you that, but I don't know from a wine. I'm not a somm. I haven't done that kind of.
We're good
level.
at spirits, right?
Yep.
We're good at beer.
And produce.
Right. Wine is one of these very elusive, like Tyzok could talk to us and it's like you'll just nod, right? Yeah, that. You could say something that, and you probably get a lot of that, right? Wine is so elusive because, first of all, pricing. Where are you coming up with these numbers?
Sure.
We use a dartboard.
Do you? I want to get into some esoteric type of stuff that I think will be
I'd
fun.
love it at the next segment.
Well, not the next segment. Next segment, we're going to talk about these delicious varieties.
Okay.
Varieties.
And is variety. Okay.
Because the grape would be the varietal
Well,
of
I'm
the
with you,
grape.
Jay. I know where you're going with this.
I'm Greg.
And I'm on it. Yeah.
But we can call him Jay. I call him Linda.
I know.
Hey,
It's okay.
that's right. You call me Eric, so we're good.
All right, now we've broken the ice. We're all warmed up. It's 7:16 the Mile IC. The show's as good as it's gotten. No, Eric. Come on. Can you join us? It's a good show right here, and Eric is going to join us in the next segment. You're sitting, but you have to sit by Jay. We've got the whole crew here.
Yes,
Here they are.
this is
Eric
fun,
Hyatt,
fun.
Tyzok, Kevin, and Jason. Carbonic masturbation. That was the word
I'll
of the
stick
night.
to my wine over here, okay? You can have that.
All's well in the world. We'll take a break. Biker Jim Pittenger in the corner with Little Rich right there. We'll break away on our 630 K-Hour affiliate, iHeart radio station, the Modern Eater Show on iHeart Radio.
Boy, that was quite a segment, Greg. I don't know how to top that.
Slow down there, Rich. Jesus, this
You know,
guy
you
has
can't
got
have
so
a
much
segment
energy.
about talking about masturbation without Biker Jim.
Exactly. That's how I got this job.
Biker Jim, what's happening with Biker Jim?
But right now we are doing our chef series of hot dogs. We just started this month with Justin Brunson.
Awesome. What's in that?
We're doing the Brunson Cheesy Red Hot. It's a Louisiana-style Red Hot, pimento cheese sauce, Elevations barbecue sauce, which is fantastic. We pickle red onions, and then we French fry them. It's a freaking delicious wiener.
Holy cow. There you go. There you go. Now, also, but what else is happening with Jim? What you got coming up?
Well, I joined the Colorado 5 again this year.
Again?
Nice. Fantastic lineup this year. We've got Josh Oakley from Avelina, Rebecca Weinzert from Logan Street, Arden Lewis from Kamal, Jen Aquina from Azucar Bakery, me.
That'll be great. Hey, learn more about Colorado 5 at Colorado 5.
5 Colorados.
5 Colorado.
Spell out the 5.
5colorado.com. We'll be back.
Gluten-free lifestyler? Is your menu limited because you've eliminated gluten from your diet? Are you missing the taste of foods that traditionally contain gluten? What if I told you?
1 minute till I read.
It's pizzas, muffins, cakes, cookies, waffles, croissants, English muffins. The list goes on. Right back to your menu. Gluten-Free Things is a local gluten-free and vegan bakery that reintroduces you to the foods you love. Owner John Irvin believes gluten-free shouldn't taste like the box that it's packaged in. Trust me when I tell you, the products from his bakery in Arvada are fresh, flavorful, and masterly crafted.
Okay. So let me just go past it?
Yeah, so that means we're
Okay.
going back, right?
Yeah, we got 30 seconds until the opening starts then.
From Arvada West High School. Check out their website at glutenfreethings.com. You'll be amazed with the variety of gluten-free products they make. And chefs, don't leave your gluten-free restaurant guests without options. Contact John at info@glutenfreethings.com. That's
10 seconds till open starts.
.com to see what he can do for you. Give him a shot. 11651 West 64th Avenue in Arvada. It's Gluten-Free Things.
Yo, what's up? This is Justin Brunson, Ultra Meat and Cheese in Denver Central Market. I'm a meat guy. And you're listening to the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Mike's up.
Okay, back to the show, Studio Kitchen, Colorado. It's kind of cool. We caught up with Chef Carrie Berry. She was in Puerto Rico, Brian. Did you see that little video?
I totally
She
did see
made
it.
an
That's awesome.
announcement.
Yep.
Roses, Americana. What is it, Jay? Roses Americana.
It is Roses Americana. It's going into Rosetta Hall.
Yeah, where Folsom Foods was.
Folsom Food. There's a ton. You've got Iridu in there. You've got a ton of great restaurants up in.
Lots of movement.
Yeah, Boulder's first food hall, Rosetta Hall.
Congratulations, Chef Gary Baird. Back to the show right now. The boys are on with us. Tyzak, Kevin, and Jason. Eric Hyatt's got there it is. You all said, let's hear you. Make sure you're there.
I'm here.
All right, cool.
Listening.
First of all, let's go through what's Carboy's offerings. Who wants to take that one? What are you making?
Well, Carboy, we do make wine from other regions that we work partners that we work with in the grape growing world, but really we make innovative, fun, approachable, unpretentious wine that excites people. And when you think about Colorado being the epicenter for the craft brewing industry and all the excitement in distilling, there's a really great opportunity we have in the wine industry to really showcase the adventure that you can have with Colorado wine by painting that picture that this is not held to the same standard as California, because every region in the world has something that makes their wines unique. And Colorado just has to stand up for what is great about Colorado wine.
What is it?
Well, the grape, you alluded to it earlier, the grape growing region is over in the Western Slope. Sure. We deal with a lot of different things from the climate. Spring and fall can throw anything at you. And it's a high desert climate, so it's growing the right varietals, and it's showcasing things that the soils can be a little bit more alluvial, higher mineral content, those kind of things,
and they can lock that deliciousness in too.
Yeah, well,
but it's more than that. It's like you can change vintage to vintage, and that's the exciting part. So you pick up a bottle of even Carboy wine, where every winery strives for consistency in what they're making, but even from year to year, you don't know what you're going to get, and that doesn't mean it's going to be good or bad. It's just going to be different, and I think that's really exciting because it keeps you on your toes and it makes you excited for the next vintage.
Anybody jump in, just say your name beforehand and then fire away. Say whatever you want to.
Well, let's ask, who's Kevin's idol? Who's his idol? Who does he and Tyzak really like? This is who we want to be when we grow up.
Well, David Grohl is what I was going to.
I love you guys even more. I am down with the foo, man. I love you said that. Okay. Well, so that we're all on the same page. Now, when it comes to making wine, where do you go with that?
There's so many different influences. I
say break new road, cut new road. Like Michael Myers at 291.
Borrow a little bit from each idol and do a little quilted patchwork of your.
Well, you're making art, Tyzak. You're making art, and someone, Frank Lloyd Wright, said one artist is just copying. It's just one artist is their impression of someone else's work.
Do you want wine there, though, in that art category anymore? Because you're talking about, craft beers.
It's there whether you want it to be.
Is it really? There's some creativity involved. There's some creativity. There's creative license, but there's a lot of science behind it as well, and a lot of it is left up to the grapes, the raw materials that we're presented with each season.
Yeah, you're fermenting grapes.
But I want to add on to that, though, that's all true. But we also have to make wine inclusive for a generation of wine drinkers that maybe have a different set of values. And when you look at that, going back to what we said earlier about that pretentiousness in the wine industry, that you kind of can't really get it unless you're in the know.
I melted around Bobby Stuckey. I really did. I didn't even know how to interview the dude.
He's amazing.
He is, and he is a G, and he's everything.
The beauty of Stuckey is he's happy to educate you.
Yeah,
and he's excited to bring new people into the fold and get them excited about wine. Whereas, I've read some reviews from other wineries, and I read a great wine article from SVP Wines yesterday, actually, talking about how the wine industry in general, as a national entity, has failed to really evolve itself to establish it, some values with millennials and Gen Zers that the craft brew industry has long since understood. And so it's making.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? I find that very interesting. What are those? Are there a couple, 2-3 points you can think of how to bridge that gap?
Yeah, I think price is one thing. That stands on its own. I don't need to expand on that, but it's also it's making it approachable and like I said, removing that pretense, because I grew up selling fine wine for a long time and becoming a somm myself, and I consider myself somewhat of a wine snob, but I always consider myself objective in the way that I appreciate wines regardless of price or region or whatever. And I think that there's still a traditional establishment in this country or even in the world that wine needs to be held at a different standard. Well, there's a generation of people that don't care about that. They want authenticity and transparency, and they want to feel like they're a part of it. They don't want to feel like they're excluded from that. They want you to bring it into it, and that's what the craft brew industry and distilling does so well. I mean, look what Breckenridge Distillery is doing right now in this state compared to big brands like Jim Beam. Like, they're establishing that foothold that, hey, we're a Colorado brand, we make great product, and we're going to bring you in on every aspect of our business and make you feel a part of our community. They cultivate that.
Kevin, so well said.
Shout out to Lich, Polich.
Yeah. No, they've done a great job, and I think the wine industry has a really great opportunity, and Colorado is a great place for that innovation to take place because you don't have an established traditionalist mindset like you do in California, where you have people resistant to things like Stelvin caps and screw caps and things like that. Like,
you don't have to tuck yourself into a mold.
Yeah.
Well, and do you think that it's because it's such an old industry? I find this super fascinating. So thank you, because you're opening a door that I don't think we might not have walked down. And I wonder though, is it because you're in such a mature, like, sort of old boys club when it comes to wine? And some of these others, I mean, and even in the whiskey world, you're in these old boys, but we have all these new young. And if you're not tying in to this, your new customer, you're losing.
Can I go into this thought process? I'd really like to do this. I alluded to Michael Myers from Distillery 291 in Colorado Springs. He's breaking every
conceivable rule.
Rule. I mean, truly, he's forced staving. He's using smaller barrels. He's winning awards left and right. There are folks like Sean Smiley, who, Sean, if you're still watching, good to hear from you, who's a traditionalist. You've got to suffer. You've got to have that traditional, and I want it in a barrel.
3 years minimum,
and just go that road. Tyzak, can you break new ground? Can you do new things now? Or talk to us about the climate of what's happening in winemaking.
That's a tricky question. Only because there are a lot of pioneers in this industry that have done many new and exciting things. The goal is to try to do the best we can with the fruit we get from Palisade, which is it can be tricky. But to answer your question, there are things to stand out from the crowd. So
Ben did something kind of innovative at Infinite Monkey, right? Throwing it in a can. What are some trending things or things that you would like to see as a winemaker that you put out there and go, I don't know if it's going to work, but I like it. I've been dealing with grapes for a long time.
Oh, I would like to
the masturbation wine.
Experiment more with masturbating.
I understand. I get it.
Well, but let's talk about this. You've got a totally different. You gave it the name. I don't know what that is. I called it Pop Top. Wine?
It's just a
crown
cap.
Crown cap. That, guys, listen, no one's doing that. And I guarantee you there's a Frenchman who is cursing at you about that right now.
He's not even French. He's California. He lives in Paso Robles. He's cursing.
Well, but tell us about that, because that's new. I mean, you're taking it, and I don't want to say dumbing it down.
So this is actually a sparkling wine.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yep. I saw that. The fizz.
The crown cap can withstand a lot of pressure. I think this one in particular up to 5 atmospheres of pressure. So.
It would pop a cork.
It would pop a cork if you utilize a cork.
Oh, interesting. Are you getting a tiny bubble? What are you getting out of by putting that on there? Do we got a break? I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention. I'm so jazzed right now, man. Aren't
jazzed? Wow. Boomer. Who says?
We'll come up with a better. We're going Dave Grohl to jazz.
Hey, do not make me go aggro on you guys, okay? Because that will happen.
I feel so aggressed right now. I don't know what's happening. Kevin, we talked about in the last segment. People probably like, hey, come on, talk about that. Difference between variety and varietal.
It's semantics. Some people look at it as tomato, but really it's, I've had many grape growers talk to me about how it's the variety of a grape, and the varietal speaks to the characteristics of that, and not the other way around. So,
are you sure?
I'm not.
Region of the world has nothing to do with varietal like that.
You can have a varietal specific attribute.
Yeah. So, like Cab Franc, grown in Cab, and is a variety that grows in Colorado, in South Africa, in Loire Valley, in France, but they have different varietal characteristics per region.
Well, and different varieties
different.
of grape, right? Because when you speak to variety, you speak to the type of grape, don't you? And then when you speak to varietal,
could be clonal,
you're speaking to
could be
more of the type
terroir.
of wine?
Yeah, it could be like per region, you could be dealing with different clones of of that variety. You could, and then obviously the terroir, the soil, the climate, the water, all those things impact it. So that's what you speak to when you talk about varietal characteristics. But like I said, we don't shame people for saying variety versus varietal. It's really not that big of a deal. Everyone gets what they're talking about. So
speaking of shaming, Brian, how many times? Now you're very well versed. You're Brian Freeman. How many times have you been at a restaurant to where you were terrified to order wine for you and your date, or just what you just
when I
wouldn't
was
even
younger,
approach
for
it?
sure.
Yeah.
You fake it till you make it. If you're not in sales and you don't know that, but yes, I know 1,000%, and that's where I was saying earlier with the younger generation right now, because they want to feel empowered.
That? Let's walk us through. So me and Brian are going to be as dumb as we are. So we're not even going to change roles.
I'm going to start that off. But one of the beautiful things, Soms are a dying breed in this country and all over the world. So one of the best things you can do is getting comfortable asking questions. If there's a Som in the building.
But let's figure out the few questions that you would want to ask, just for guys.
You got Valentine's Day. You have to look internally.
Okay. Hang on. Let's break off. We'll come back. I want to ask a couple of those questions, and then you guys are doing a great job not only making the wine, but the distribution. It's everywhere, and it's a lot of places. What's the model? Are you wanting to be in other restaurants, liquor stores, all of the above? How does that all work out? You're nodding your head. Yes, this is a cool show. Carboy Winery here with us right now. And have you been over to the Logan Street? Carboy?
The old, no, that one I have not been to yet. Yeah, the old Gov Park.
Yeah.
No, but I have been to their south Santa Fe, which that one I will jump on the roof every day. I sent someone there today who's visiting. Well, to tell everyone, I'll scream from the rooftops, man, because what they've got going on down there, and I don't know if it's a partnership with Breckenridge Brewery but I saw Nathaniel Rateliff there once with a couple different bands. That was awesome.
You're jazzed, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh, these guys.
I'm glad you said it. I was going to say it. It's like he's jazzed. You can tell.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Jazz stuff.
These are my jazz hands, baby. Come on now.
Jazz flute.
Spice guy in the Little Rich corner. It's Zach Johnston. He's a friend of ours, and he's about to be a friend of yours for 1 minute right here on the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, you're right. Look who I got. I got my buddy Zach over here. Zach from The Spice Guy. What's happening? What's new at The Spice Guy? What's your secret sauce?
Rich, you know everything at The Spice Guy. We're constantly busy, growing. Had the pleasure of getting our taxes done last week and paying Uncle Sam a pretty penny. But yeah, we're jamming. We're happy. Everything's going super well. As busy as we've ever been. And, we're just rolling out this compostable program every single week, just making sure that customers are informed, that we're doing as good of a job as possible, that the bags are holding up as well as anything else. And that's kind of been our main focus for the last couple weeks. We launched our own app at the Lever's Locavore store to be paired with our time machine. So we've been really busy with a few super weird things, and then making dreams come true for a bunch of our partners like Corner Post Meats, River Bear Meats, just doing a bunch of new blends for these guys, getting everything sorted out, and growing the empire, not the resume.
Yeah, we're going to have you talk with these guys from Angelo's and Carboy about some spices.
We should talk to them.
Man, they're here. Hey, we're going to be back. We've got one of our best sponsors, our favorite sponsor, Zach, right here. Support this guy. He's awesome. We'll be right back.
Denver's award-winning Belgian-style brewery. I am very pleased to tell you that our new tap room at Colfax and York in Congress Park is now open, and it is a unique experience. It's close to great restaurants, has a big sunny patio for warmer days, will feature live music, and it has a very cool contemporary Belgian-style bar and tap room. To celebrate our second location, we have 18 beers on tap, including several limited edition sour and barrel-aged beers. For some holiday good cheer, try our figgy pudding and our unique champagne beer, Brut Le Grand. Check it all out on our website, bruzbeers.com. That's Bruz, spelled B-R-U-Z, at 67th and Pecos, and now open in Congress Park at Colfax and York. Join us this week at either location for some serious Belgian-style badassery.
Wear black and eat spices. Hey, Modern Eater listeners, this is Zach from The Spice Guy, Colorado's favorite spice company. Spice is the variety of life. At The Spice Guy, we have a passion for sourcing the best ingredients from the best farmers all over the world. Choose from thousands of different GMO-free spices and ingredients, or let us create and blend custom flavor profiles for whatever style of food it is that you're working with. With over 1,000 restaurants, food brands, and chefs behind us, you can't go wrong when you choose The Spice Guy for all your spice needs. The Spice Guy.
Spicy.
Born in Breck, raised in Denver.
TheSpiceGuyCo.com.
Hey, you know what? It's the new year, and everyone's always looking for new ways to be more profitable. And so they always attack the different line items. But one almost everybody never looks at is their utilities, what they're spending on natural gas. Brian, do you have any tips for us on how to save money on natural gas?
Absolutely. Just call me. Call me. That's all you got to do.
What's that number, Brian?
That number is 720-245-5771.
Be sure and give Brian a call at Encore Energy.
Hi, this is Lori Midson. I'm a food hack, a.k.a. food writer. I was just told that I could put my line, and you're listening to the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Okay, here we are back at it. The Modern Eater Show, Carboy Winery. Up. Guys, we're on the show. We're ready to go.
How we doing here, everybody?
Hello. I know Jay's like, couldn't you guys please concentrate? Yes, we can. And thank you. When we broke off, we were talking about all of these different varieties of wines.
The varieties versus varietal.
Well, no, just the varieties. Guys, you were really excited about this wine right here. What's this 59?
So Vin 59 is a wine that we came up with in the very beginning when we were trying to establish ourselves a really good blend that encompassed, that kind of went with the marketing that we were going after. So when we looked back at different time periods in history that had carboys, I found evidence of that in the gold rush, the Colorado Gold Rush.
Gotcha.
So we decided on a name, Vin 59, to pay homage to that 1859 pioneers in the gold rush period. And when we first started out, we were sourcing grapes only from California. And then as time grew on, we kind of felt like, to make this historically and geographically correct, varietally correct, this should be a Colorado blend. So this particular vintage finally was rechristened as an all-Colorado blend, and we're really excited about it.
That's cool. Very cool. Where is that available?
It's available in all three of our tasting rooms, and then we're really kicking distribution off this year. We've got about 20 restaurant accounts right now that carry our wine.
Smoking.
And we're, we're literally like, I'm having to I'm more busy than I've ever been as far as restaurants that want to carry it.
Kevin, do you guys do mail order?
We don't. No, we
Okay.
force people to come see us because you get a handshake and you get a story, and you can't get that if you're just shipping wine.
Well, does he look like Gary V to you?
No, well, it's an interesting model because I am from years back, I have put my name on a couple of lists, and you can't get their wine anywhere else except their releases, and you have to be bought in kind of deal. And the waiting list is one in particular out in California that I'm on. It's 10 years just to even get a bottle if you're not signed up already. I love your guys' stuff. I mean, that's why I ask.
And you know what? Wine clubs are great. I belong to a few of myself, but the problem that I fell into is that after a while, it's all just an email communication, and you've lost that connection with them. And we're really proud. I think the national average for most wine clubs is somewhere between a year and a half and 2 years, and we have an amazing club of members that have been with us since day one. And we continue to offer them something new all the time. They can come into the tasting rooms and they can get ultimate hospitality, and they can get that feeling that they can't get from that one trip they had to Napa.
We throw great parties every quarterly release. We have great parties in our tasting rooms, and you come in, have something the chef prepared, something that, like you might see here, and get to try the new vintages.
Let me circle back, Jason. What's something new? This has been, in my opinion, listen, wine is the oldest spirit that we have. That's probably not 1,000% accurate, because I think it's somewhere in between beer and wine, but this is not something new. This is not changing. I mean, when I look at something like wine and what you're doing, it is a very long ship, and it doesn't turn fast.
Yep.
and there's not new stuff coming into the market all the time. But where do you guys see that? Because I think that there's room for that.
Man, we're 3.5 years in, so everything is new for us. We have sparkling wine coming out. This one was made up in Breckenridge, but Denver is going to be the center of sparkling wine for Carboy, and we're going to do a variety of different production methods. We have our red blends. The fruit is only getting better coming out of Palisade, and I'd like to think that we continue to work better as a wine team and putting together better blends. And
can you make a bad grape taste good?
Great question.
I've heard some guys.
I think he can. He's a magician.
Like Alex Liberati, when he came in here, he likes to mess around grapes. We took him to Palisade, and he's like, I can make a bad grape taste good.
There are tricks.
Yeah.
There are tricks, but the most rewarding thing is to showcase the good grapes. Honestly, it's a tough question. I mean, you can slap lipstick on a.
He's
pig
being modest.
so
He's
times.
a ghost. He's a grape whisperer. I've seen it.
Let's
I've
talk
seen
about.
it.
I feel and totally appreciate where the conversation's gone. I always relate to the sales guy. Sales guy talks a lot about, but the winemaker, right? Let's go to you. Let's talk about what's making you just really passionate. What are you seeing out there? What do you want to realize? What do you want Carboy to be?
I think it's exciting to work with the varieties, the experimental varieties that are being planted by some of the growers that are willing to take risks and willing to try out grapes that aren't typically or haven't been planted.
So transplanting grapes from different regions?
Yeah, for instance, the Tiraldigo that you tasted is an Alpine variety that's its origins are from Alto Adige, probably the one on your right. Yep.
Yeah. Which
and so its parent grape is Syrah, right? A meatier, heavier wine. This one's a bit lighter and has a spicier component, I feel, and it's almost as though it's Syrah meets Zinfandel, right? And so it's exciting to work with varieties that seemingly will be more prevalent as we move forward.
Yeah. Tyzak, I'm a young farmer. I want to grow a grape for you guys. Where, like, when you say go on the edge, do you really mean that? Do you really mean, hey, listen, Brian, I want you to grow 500 pounds because that's my minimum. So what is the minimum that you'd need to even try something?
I think 1 ton is a sufficient.
Okay, so a couple thousand pounds
starting point. Correct. 1 ton typically upon fermentation and finished product equates to about 150 to 160 gallons. So you're looking at 2.5 barrels of wine product.
And do you want me doing some crazy grape, or do you want me to find something that no one's grown in 50 years? It's an old varietal that I can go to Italy, go to some off place in Europe and find a vine that has been neglected.
I mean, I would love to work with Zweigelt. Zweigelt is an Austrian variety that's somewhat similar, but possesses more minerality than Tiraldigo, and more voluptuousness, if you will.
Got to work for this climate, this environment. Mm-hmm. It can't be something off the wall that's not going to work with Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, I love Grenache. I wish Grenache were able to.
We planted Grenache in my front yard this year, and it's probably all dead.
Do you guys want a wine that's going to have to age, or do you want a wine that's going to be you're going to drink really young?
This is a great question. Because we're a new company, we've been put in a position where it's somewhat necessary to produce wines that are approachable and as they're young, if you will, to be able to provide product. But as we move forward and grow, we're able to put aside wines that are going to be aging much longer, whether it be in barrel or in bottle. So that is.
I see Chef over here. He's itching to get in here. I like this.
Yeah, you guys are. We're getting some feedback from New Zealand. We'll give a shout out to Little Bit listening in New Zealand. You have some
really?
listeners, across a big old pond.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
What's
super
the
cool to hear.
consensus?
Loving it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, having a great giddy over there.
I like, and your perspective of what you've heard tonight. I'm sure you wanted to jump in multiple times.
Well, I like to leave the professionals to what they do and what they do best. But more importantly, behind the scenes, we are having so much fun with this winemaking process. You should see the tastings that we do when we're doing our samplings and we're doing some blendings and tasting wines. It's it's like a really good time to be in this industry and to be with these guys.
Eric likes to push us at times.
Don't let him fool you. He was the inspiration behind this carbonic.
They laughed at me. They laughed at me for the masturbating one.
He said I want to make a Beaujolais, and so we had an opportunity with these grapes that didn't quite ripen to their full potential. Varietally speaking.
Yes, sir.
And so we made a Beaujolais style product.
He told those Beaujolais drinkers that he wanted to make Beaujolais, so we had to.
And I want him to do it because I have a vision on 7th Ave between Pennsylvania and Logan Street. I have a vision of hay bales blocking on 7th, blocking at Logan Street, and rolling barrels down the street and cracking them open to celebrate Beaujolais.
If he's got a vision, it'll probably happen sometime in the next few years.
Well, and listen, from somebody who does like to do the visionary stuff, if you've already seen it in your mind, it's going to happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Hey,
foregone conclusion.
Does the word bougie come from that, Beaujolais?
Beaujolais is the region in France.
I think bougie.
That Gamay is the grape. In Beaujolais.
But the Beaujolais is or is that just the Nouveau? When you put the Beaujolais Nouveau behind it, is Nouveau is the young?
That's the young version.
Earlier release.
The young, but I thought most Beaujolais were first couple years kind of release,
correct,
kind of wine.
Enjoyed younger on the younger side.
younger. Okay.
A few that can age, but for the most part, yeah.
Next segment's called Booze in the News. All the booze news you can use right here. We're gonna talk. We're gonna taste. We're
going for the 59er,
and we're gonna go for notes.
What do you guys want to open?
Hey, listen, we're here. You brought a lot of good stuff, right? So we'll just go
open
down
it all.
We got some goodies.
We'll go down the line.
I like where he goes with that. Open it all.
Kevin Weber's over there with Little Rich in the Little Rich corner. I don't know what this is all about, but it's got to be in her. I have no idea what.
When Rich is hiding something behind the card, get nervous, get excited.
Hey, no secret. I get a little intimidated around wine, and especially these heavy hitters right here. But they make you feel very comfortable. One of the things that I want to hit in the next segment is how can we do that? How can we make this a more approachable thing? Because you hit it right on the head, Brian. Wine's never going anywhere. We've seen these trends. We've done beer dinners and we've done spirits dinners, and it comes right back full circle. Where's the wine? Yep. And I think
we're incorporating that this year with our summer dinner series.
Absolutely.
These guys are going to have their night to shine because this is
Carboy Winery.
We like that.
Solidifying, putting their stake in the ground right here at the Modern Eater Show and Studio Kitchen, Colorado. Little Rich Corner. We'll break away, come right back. Final segment right here, the Modern Eater Show on iHeartRadio.
Greg, before we go to booze in the news, we're going to go to bars in the news. Kevin told me about a little project because he doesn't have enough going on. What else you got going on, Kevin?
So my brother and I started a company about 6 years ago, and we are innovators in the energy and nutrition bar category. So, and long story short, we make bars that help people play better and perform better longer than any other bar on the market. And we're really excited that next week we're releasing a bar specifically for our nation's superheroes, our men and women of the armed forces, by providing a bar that's very innovative and unique that allows them to stay in the field longer, which is something that is really close and near and dear to our hearts. So it's really, really exciting, and we're shaking up a category that's been long overdue for some innovation. So,
2 quick questions. Where can I get these?
You can get them at REI. Nationwide. You can get them in Safeway, King Supers, and Natural Grocers. And on our website, Amazon Prime.
Okay, and your website? What's that address?
4pointsbar.com.
4pointsbar.com.
Yep.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to be right back. Stay here with your friends at the Modern Eater. Watch us. You will get better. We've got Element Knife, Rome Sausage, and Meridian Spirits.
People know the importance of a quality knife and proper care. My training in Japan exposed me to exceptional cutlery. That's why I am so excited to offer you the knives I fell in love with. Element Knife Company is chef-driven, and my goal is to support and educate. Get at me for a knife clinic or conversation. Find me at elementknife.com or by simply calling 303-460-5600. 4628. For the best knives in your kitchen, think Element Knife Company.
Hey guys, Chris Johnson here, owner of Rome Sausage, your hyper-local source for all things sausage awesomeness. My family is proud to carry on the fine traditions of Rome's founder, Jerry Rome, by producing a variety of amazing sausage in small batches with an eye on quality, not quantity. Every batch is made here in the great state of Colorado by hand mixing spices, utilizing lean cuts of pork to make an outstanding product. Sourcing ingredients and materials locally, we are committed to supporting local vendors, chefs, restaurants, and the entire Colorado food scene. Getting hungry yet? Brats, Italian, breakfast, hot Polish, green chili, chicken apple, and the world's best chorizo. You can source all of our sausage through a variety of food service distributors. If your distributor doesn't carry it, call us. We'll come direct. You want a custom item? We'll do that too. Samples, and of course, sausage jokes, can be had by contacting me directly at chris@romesausage.com or by phone at 303-296-7663. The modern eater loves Rome sausage, and I know you will too.
What do you get when you have two women who love to play with corn? A unique craft distillery, of course. Let me explain. Hi, my name is Alex Tudor. My mom and I own Meridian Spirits, located right here in Colorado. Chances are you've seen our award-winning Coupe Gin and Coupe Vodka on the shelves at many fine local retail locations. Here's our mission. My mom and I believe that family is important, and our business is a reflection of that. When you taste our delicious and locally crafted spirits in a cocktail or by themselves, you'll taste our passion for what we do. Hear our story and watch our progress this year on The Modern Eater. We love to share because everything is more fun with friends. Next time you choose a vodka or gin, consider us, Meridian Spirits.
Now it's time for the Modern Eater's Booze in the News segment.
I like my beer cold, my meat grilled, and my entertainment explosive.
All we need is a chair and a cooler beer.
Here's your Booze News.
Oh, everybody likes this segment. Booze in the News, all the booze news you can use right here on the Modern Eater Show as we continue. Eric Hyatt with us here, Tyzak Worthen, Kevin Weber, not Eric Weber, and Jason Snopkowski.
Nice.
Huh? Did I do
Good
it?
job.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks.
Snap.
We'll call him Snap. Guys, it is really cool, but I wanted to, before we start tasting, just have you, Kevin, just riff. You're like, we need more of this. We need more of this kind of talk. And I know Brian and I will dumb it down, and we're not afraid to ask the dumb questions. I think a lot of people are afraid to ask the dumb questions and putting that wine on a pedestal. Should it be? Talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no dumb questions out there. I mean, it's, the thing is, you alluded to it earlier that there's traditions within the wine industry. And traditions are great. They're meant to be respected because it gives you a sense of where you've come from. But every industry, no matter what it is, has to evolve to the values of the next man up.
We're seeing that with chefs and kitchens.
Yeah. It has to. I mean, it's just the way it is. And industries that are slow to evolve, they die. They go away. And wine is something that's really, truly wonderful because unlike beer and spirits where you can do a lot of manipulation through either barrels or flavors or all those kind of things, wine is really raw. I mean, it's really, nature gives you a grape, and every year it could be totally different, and then it's showcasing that. So the way to keep that relevant, in my opinion, especially with these newer generations, is one, remove that barrier of you have to be in the know to appreciate this. Which, like Jason said, a lot of the Somm community has always kind of been that nose in the air that has kind of made people feel like you've got to understand this to really appreciate it, because that's just not true.
Colorado Somms are totally different.
Totally different. They are. It's
Colorado
not
Somms
even close.
are approachable, and that's what I was starting to talk about earlier. Like, tell them what your budget is. Tell them what you like. You don't have to be educated. Yeah. Just give them a little hint, and they're going to dial it in for you.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I know what an IPA is.
Yeah.
I know what a Pils is.
Well, when are we going to get a Somm in the liquor store?
Yeah.
Is what I would ask, because
that's a great
have
question.
brewers all the time in the liquor store, because if you don't taste a beer, you don't know it.
There's some great wine stores in town that do have Somms in there. You know, it's like you go to Mondovino, you go to Joy, you go to Divino. They kill it every day. They got great selection. Everything you buy off the shelf is good.
We're going to get David, because David is one of those new guys over at Divino that I think he's going to bring this younger generation into it.
So, Brian, I can teach you how to drink scotch like a sir.
Like a sir, you have, actually.
But I can't teach you. So, wine, just a couple of apparent things. So, holding wine by there, not the stem, not up top. There's a reason behind that.
Well, wait,
it's
do you
actually
do
practical.
that or where? Come on, guys,
it's actually practical. I mean, and it's all.
You can hold the stem, I think.
Stem is great. Lower bass if you want to, talk with your hands.
But why?
Up here, the only reason why you don't want to hold it up here is because you're going to warm up the wine.
Yep. And so what he's talking about, folks, on the radio, you can't see this. You get to our Facebook, but what it is it's not the.
Well, you see, I mean, this is not proper.
Yeah. It's not. You're not heating up.
So how are you going to spin it? Come on,
vessel.
One of my
Tizok's laughing. Come on, why are you laughing?
I hold the glass any damn way.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you really?
That's one of the pretenses you got to remove from it. That you have to drink it a certain way.
Okay, but listen, before the break, when you were over there with Eric, and you were holding that just like this when it was being poured.
That's a great point.
Yeah, but he sometimes hits lefty, though. I've seen it. He'll use the left hand.
I mean, how hot is somebody's hand?
Especially carbonic.
You'd be surprised. Yes, Aaron, you'd be surprised.
We're going to cook this thing up.
Listen, I took a bottle out of my cellar the other day, and it was a red, and it was down in the 50s. And the person that I poured it for was like, oh, that's different. It's cold.
Okay, what else, guys?
And that was good.
What else would you like to? We'll just go round robin. What else would you like to dispel or either confirm?
Just to capitalize on everything we've said here, drink what you like. If you want to drink red wine with ice in it, drink it and embrace it and enjoy it because that's what you like. If you want to,
those infidels.
If you want to finger stir Negroni, Gary Reagan, rest in peace. Finger stir your Negroni.
Yeah, if you want to drink bitters, we drink a whole bottle of bitters.
What shall we?
I drink the Contratto is one of my favorite bitters. That's a winemaker. And the Contratto. I'm sure you've had that. The Contratto bitters. Yeah. Winemakers switch to saying no one's doing this good.
But with drinking spirits, it's very similar that you do want to utilize your smell.
Your
right
olfactory
off the bat.
senses are the strongest of your senses. It all starts there.
Okay, so clockwise, counterclockwise. Does it matter? No. Is that a bunch of BS? Because I was told
it depends upon which hemisphere.
Yeah. Clockwise here.
If you're left-handed, you go the other way. I don't know. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, right?
It's one of those things that, again, there's the industry established things that are proper. And those are barriers that just need to be broken down. Wine can be simple and just as elegant as it can be complex.
The entire purpose behind the swirl is to coat the surface area so that you have more molecules.
Aromatic.
You're getting more air into the wine,
so
right?
However you want to swirl it is fine.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. And I was like, why is it backwards? And they tried to tell me that backwards is not the way that they were trying to say that the way that the molecule is this way, so going backwards opens it up.
They were having fun with you.
Fun, yeah. Yeah, and that's it.
What's next, boys?
He's ready to go for the next one.
Well, we got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Is National Wine Day coming up, guys?
It is on Tuesday.
Oh, man. Let us tell you about that for 1 second. We normally retail this in our tasting room for $7. You fill them up. The fills cost, depending on the wine, anywhere from $19 to $39. On Tuesday, we just want people to drink wine, and drink local wine. So you can come into any one of our 3 tasting rooms, tap rooms, fill one of these up with the wine of your choice for $10. Walk out the door.
Wow. That's this coming Tuesday.
2 minutes.
We're going to push
one
that.
one per person.
Okay.
One per person?
Yeah.
One per person.
That's all you need.
So bring 10 friends.
And then you're automatically signed up for rewards. So every 4 fills, seven. Oh, no. Yeah,
every 7th is free.
Every 7th fill is free. So it starts you off right.
Can you get
guys? These whites are really approachable, really easy.
So good, right?
Awesome, aren't
yeah,
they?
I mean
that's Colorado. That's Colorado right there. That's awesome. Yeah. That's really different and it's really great.
Housekeeping. I always say it's called the 60-second, 30-second elevator speech. Why to come see it, Carboy?
Because we're going to give you a true experience all the way around. And that experience may be a private tasting. It may be a self-led flight. It may be just having a glass of wine on a date night with a board, but you're going to learn about Colorado wine. You're going to get it innovative out of a keg, or you're going to get it out of a bottle. You're going to get schooled on what's cool going on in the Western Slope and how adventurous the Colorado wine experience is.
And you might get a pedicab ride over the Angelos afterwards.
Or you might get some carbonic masturbation.
Yeah, I think you might. Thank you. I love it. Guys, really, sincerely.
Yeah, thank you,
so
guys. Thank you, man.
Thanks for having us.
What a great time tonight. What a great time.
Eric.
And, hey, and if you're in Breckenridge, You guys got a place up there. Don't forget about that, because I'll tell you.
Oldest liquor license west of the Mississippi.
79.
Go get a pizzas at Angelo's. I have to thank everybody. Angelo's Taverna, Carboy Winery, Logan Street, Ivy on 7th, Madison for helping put this all together. Thank you, Madison. Eric Hyatt, Tyzak Worthen, Kevin Weber, Jason Subnoski.
Just call him Snatch. Or Snap, baby.
Snatch.
Or Snatch.
Little Rich Schneider, thank you
Craig
and welcome
Jones,
back.
Craig
Jay
Jones, our other
Parkin.
founder.
Craig, thank you. Jay Parker Kenyon, Dave Avery, Brian Freeman, Greg Hollenback. We'll see you next week. It is Jesucio Silvia. Jesucio Silvia from where?
Yep.
Broadway Market.
Masaki.
Yeah,
Broadway
he's got a
Market.
few places, man. It's going to be fun.
Next week, The Modern Eater Show.
This is a special